Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
So good. Everyone's joining in. Amazing. Fantastic. Good to see everyone. If you can have your video on today, we love that. We love being able to see everyone, seeing lots of familiar faces here and also lots of new faces here too, which is fantastic. I think we should get underway. Let's dive into it. Elena, over to you.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Elena McCarthy, and I am an illustrator from Toronto, Canada, and I have 20 years experience doing the creative thing. I do editorial work, marketing, ad work, lettering, picture books, book covers, murals, a little bit of everything. So I also have a lot of experience in terms of different commercial creative fields. So I was freelance with an agent straight out of school. And then I was in office as a senior graphic designer. And then I rose in the ranks a little bit too much, became less creative. So I left and I went back to my solo freelance career running my own business. And that's what I'm doing now, have been for 5 years now. Some of my clients include Taco Bell, Absolute Vodka, Disney Pixar, Nickelodeon, and many more. So I ended up reaching out to Logan last spring, I think, because I felt I had just plateaued in my business. I didn't know what to focus on. I didn't know how to actually move the needle. So within his course, I ended up setting a goal to have a 100K year, which I did not think I could reach, but I am proud to say that I reached it and I am now a six-figure creative. So Logan's 3-month program was completely instrumental in getting me there. It helped me work on my mindset, my confidence, what offers to really focus on and lean into, how to find new clients and market myself, and how to take actions that move my business forward rather than letting them sit on the back burner like I usually would. And I think that's about all about me. And on to you, Logan.
Amazing. Honestly, I love it. And just so great to reconnect with you as well, Alana, since you did the program. I'm going to briefly share a little bit more about myself. I know some people are familiar here, but there's some people here that I definitely don't know as well. So it's so great to connect with you. So my background is that I am, yes, originally from New Zealand. I had my own creative business for 11 years, was in the live event space. So quite wacky, quite different. Performers, characters, dancers, actors, fire, all sorts of really interesting things. And really early on in that journey, I also got involved in education. So I ended up studying entrepreneurship, doing my entrepreneurship masters, because I've always loved this place of creativity and business and really bridging the gap between the two. So I started basically teaching, lecturing part-time for universities in New Zealand, and also public programs too. I did that for quite a number of years, and it was a bit of everything. It was like lecture halls, it was on stage, it was one-on-one, it was big groups, it was online, small groups, everything you can think of there, and primarily working with creatives across a bunch of different programs as well. And obviously things evolved as they do, and eventually I started helping people to grow their business. So people like Alana, who are like, hey, I've been doing this for 10 or 20 years, but I need some more direction from here. Yes, I also want to do things like increase the revenue, focus on the right things, find more time outside the business as well, and those sorts of things there. So you can see we do work with lots of different types of people within their journeys. We also occasionally work with people with large followings as well. About 10% of people we work with have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. Most don't, right? So 90% of people we work with have smaller followings, under 10,000 followers, which there's lots of ways to build a business. And we're going to be talking about this today. Instagram's one of them, but there's other ways within that too. We're going to talk about the marketing stuff there. Everyone we work with is in the visual creative space. So primarily that means illustrators, graphic designers, muralists, and there's obviously exceptions to those rules as well. We've worked with the odd photographer and videographer, interior designer. We've had different people in the visual creative space as well. I love it. So that is a bit of a download about myself. We're going to be diving into a training all about marketing today. So how to market your creative business. This topic here is absolutely essential. And just to get you all thinking about like why are we running a webinar on this topic? The reason for that is the problem that people face the most. There's lots of things that can get in the way around growing a business, starting a business, those things there. But marketing is one of the biggest ones because ultimately to have a business, you need to have paying clients. And often what we see is that creative people are very good at their craft, right? Everyone we work with, we're always like, oh my goodness, they're absolutely incredible at what they do creatively. The struggle is often not that, right? It's actually the business stuff. It doesn't come as natural to many creative people, right? It's not as interesting as the creative side. So therefore, many people tend to lean away from that business stuff into the creative stuff. And a lot of people are looking at their creative stuff and their work going, maybe it's not good enough. Ah, no one seems to be contacting me. No one seems to be paying me. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I'm not good enough at what I do creative. That's one of the big messages that people think. And we see it again and again. We get to see everyone's incredible work. And generally, that is not the problem. Marketing, the word marketing is just, we were having a conversation with a client, one of the clients the other day, and we were laughing about how, yeah, the words marketing and sales make some people want to throw up in the corner. Oh, marketing and sales. I just want to focus on the creative stuff. It is an essential part of it. I think we should rebrand some of the stuff. Marketing is really just sharing, right? That's all it really is. Getting more of the amazing work that you do out there to the right people. So we're going to dive in. The first thing that we wanted to dive into is why doing all of the things in marketing does not work. Right. So there's a bit of a mentality online. You hear you have to be everywhere. You have to do everything. You have to be on all the social platforms. You have to be doing this. You have to be doing that. And that's really overwhelming. And ultimately, it doesn't work. Now, what's interesting about that is like where that advice is coming from. Most of the time, I see that advice is coming from people who have a larger business and a team. And they're saying you need to be everywhere. They may have the capacity to be in more places because they have a bigger business and a bigger team. Their business also has to be bigger. They have to be marketing even more because they're paying all of these people as well. So we've just got to be very aware that focus is actually powerful when it comes to marketing. Even if you do have a team, even if you have grown the business, even then, focus is still powerful. You should not have to be everywhere. So what our recommendation is that you get really good at a core thing. Right, so really figure out and lean into what is going to be the core thing in marketing. This is something we do with all the clients we work with, is help them to figure this out. Because you do not need to be everywhere, but you need to be somewhere. Now, typically for visual creatives, those one things tend to be one of the following. Could be Instagram, could be outreach, networking, relationship building, partnership. Right? These are the core areas that we see. There's always exceptions to that, but generally it's one of those core areas that they can really lean into. Therefore, focus is going to be really important to you. I really like the Instagram platform. Or people talk about how scary and hard outreach is. I quite enjoy that. I think it's great. I enjoy trying to find the people to connect to, writing up a customized piece of the email, creating templates, sending those emails. And I think everyone gets frustrated with the Instagram algorithm. But there's still plenty of opportunities to grow your business using Instagram. But you don't have to. There's also other opportunities within this too. That's a big one here to really focus on is you do not need to be everywhere, but you need to be somewhere, and focus is going to be really powerful. I'd love to hear your thoughts around this, Alana, in terms of your learnings and your growth in the space as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I left my day job and I wanted to redefine my style, I posted it everywhere, like Behance and Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now. And it was very exhausting. And I wasn't really getting the traction for the time that I was putting in. So after taking the course, I figured out where my clients hung out and I focused on those. So I focus a lot on Instagram. LinkedIn has been really great. I don't think it's really saturated with artists. So it's interesting. Even I think our content really surprises and resonates with the business people on there, which are people that are going to hire you anyway. So I think it's a really great thing to look for. Sorry, cat. I also do a lot of networking and email outreach as well. So I collect up names of clients I might be interested in working with. I put them on a spreadsheet and then I reach out to them and track whether they opened the email, whether they got back to me, whether they were or weren't interested. Also for Instagram, I found a big thing was to post like no one's watching because the whole chasing the algorithm thing can be really frustrating. So it's just stop looking at the numbers, just post things, just get your stuff out there, just keep moving forward and just, yeah, go for it. But I find also Instagram really keeps me top of mind Like, I have gotten a lot of jobs through my own personal network, just knowing people in real life, and they end up knowing someone that needs an illustrator, and they think of me first. So, I think staying top of mind is really important.
I love it. I think so many good things here for everyone to keep in mind and really lean into as well. And one of the things I love here is like, this is real life stuff in action, right? I'm here sharing perspectives and teaching from what we see, but you also get to hear from Alana. And here's the stuff that I'm actually doing that's worked and there's good things here. And the second kind of piece of this around this idea of the one thing is like how to focus that energy. So I talked briefly about this idea of supporting strategies. You don't have to be everywhere. You do need to focus, but you could also be spending some of your energy elsewhere. So use that 80-20 rule, which is, hey, I might spend 80% of my energy on something like outreach, but then we're going to spend 20% of my energy on other things. And even what Alana here, shared here is testing some different things, right? Trying out, see if LinkedIn works, right? Trying this thing out, putting your information on some different sites. That certainly can be part of this equation and trying things. Another thing I want everyone to be really mindful of here is that we need to be aware that are you growing your business or are you keeping your business just running? Because we hear from people, particularly people that have been in business for a long time, they're like, cool, like my business is all based on referrals and repeat clients. Right now, that is amazing, right? To have a business where you're getting referrals and you're getting repeat clients, amazing. What we tend to see though is that if you're just relying on those things, you'll be in cruise mode and sometimes the business is slowly actually not dying, but it's slowing down. Because what's not happening is you're not bringing in the new opportunities, the new relationships, the new connections. So those things there might not be very proactive. And also what's going to also happen is that some people won't repeat, right? So that's why being proactive, putting your message out there, connecting with new people is going to be really important. On the pricing side, the more you do this marketing, the more relationships and connecting you do, means you can also just increase your prices. You're less reliant on a smaller group of people or even those past clients because over time you should be increasing your prices. Yes, with the past clients, but that is often quite difficult. So bringing new people into your sphere is also really important. I'd love to hear if you had any other kind of extra thoughts around this piece around the one thing in marketing within these areas here, Alana.
Yeah, for sure. I really like to experiment. So I like to try and lean into something quite a bit. Right now, I'm trying to lean into Instagram Reels. And I just try to see what kind of feedback I get from my audience. And that tells me whether or not I should continue on with it. So some places are a dead end, like Twitter, my stuff doesn't resonate so much. And other places, it's you start to learn where to focus your energy.
It's what I love here. It's the learning, right? The experimentation. And that's what Alana's talking about too. It's like testing things, trying things. Not everything's going to work, but you're going to learn a lot from trying different things as well within this. So I love that. All right. So we're going to talk about key supporting strategies. So you know how I talked about this idea of the core strategy, right? So you're like, okay, like Instagram is my thing. You're probably going to not just do Instagram. You're going to need to have things that support the fact that you're doing Instagram. Or if you're doing outreach, what supports the fact that you're doing outreach? It's something that you can do at a lower level, lower focus. For example, what we tend to see is having basic social media profiles set up elsewhere is a good thing that you can do. Right. For example, LinkedIn, we were talking about that. Things like LinkedIn, things like Pinterest as well could be things to consider within this. And on that, as I said, basic Instagram setup is definitely something we recommend for everyone we work with, right? And maybe you post on it once a week or even just once a month, because what's going to happen is that, yeah, like the other things, if you're sending an email, do email outreach, they're going to check up on you and be like, is this a real person? Email lists are still active and alive, right? Building an email list, having an email newsletter, these are supporting strategies as well, right? You could do an email newsletter just once a month. All email newsletters start off with one person. It's usually your mum or your dad, and that's okay. But then you can build it from there. This is something that is really important is to have these things in place, connecting with other people, hearing other people talking about their business as well. Amazing. We'd love to hear your thoughts around some of the stuff from your journey as well, Alana.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the biggest change, because you were talking about websites, the biggest thing for me was I changed my website to not go directly into my portfolio. Instead, they land on the first page, which has a bit of about me, my offerings, the major clients I've worked with, invites them to see a sample of my work, but to click and see more. And what this does, I found once I did that, I started getting better clients and higher paying clients because it really my value in their mind before they even see my work. So I thought that was a major pivot point for me. Also, an easy way to do some other supportive strategies. If you're making, what's it called? If you're making content and you're aiming it to Instagram, you can get some kind of service like Later, which will also push the same content at the same time on a calendar to LinkedIn, to Twitter, to Pinterest. So then you are spreading a wide net, but with minimal effort. So really you're just posting on Instagram, but you're just throwing everything out to other platforms. I've been working a lot on my email list because I got hacked actually, and I guess it's been a bit over a year, and I lost my Instagram, my Facebook, everything for my business. And it was completely devastating. And it made me realize how we don't own social media. So I think it's so important to grow your email list, have people that are directly interested in your work on there. And I've been doing that through leaning into lead magnets, a free pricing guide, a guide on how to diversify your income as an artist, just valuable, helpful things for the creative community. And yeah, it's been going great so far.
I love that. It's such a good reminder to everyone around like the ownership here is, yeah, you do not own, like particularly Instagram, right? Like we've seen it happen where people have lost their Instagram. Like that
Yeah,
it's been hacked,
that's
right? Absolutely devastating. It's been hacked or Instagram's locked you out for some reason, even though you didn't do anything wrong. And this stuff does happen. So therefore, making sure, yes, these things like email lists is really important. Now, unfortunately, other things can happen with email lists as well. And therefore, diversifying in other places can be important. But just once again, just like myself and Alana talked to, is you don't need to be doing all of these things. We're saying some of these things you can set up, get them running, do the basics, and then focus on one of those core things, which is good. I love that. So we're going to keep moving through this. Right, we were talking earlier on in one of our client trainings about segmenting your email list and how you could split it up into a client list and a non-client list and more artists. It's a great idea. You can also do things even more complicated than that. And this is amazing. There's lots of interesting things you can do around marketing, but you've got to make sure you're doing the basics. Right? We've seen people who come up with really elaborate Instagram strategies or trying to really do this and do that, do complicated things. And then we're like, when did you last contact people you've previously worked with? And they're like, what do you mean? I've never contacted them. I've worked with them. If they need me again, they'll message me. We're like, no, you've got to, that is part of doing the basics. Like you've got to stay in communication. Your next best client is probably going to be someone that you've already worked with, right? Because they already know and trust you. They've already spent money with you. They are probably willing to spend more money with you because they trust you and they like the outcome. But you have to stay in communication with them, right? Even though they were like, that was amazing. You did such a great job. This is like absolutely incredible. And they're raving about you and they gave you a nice testimonial. You might think, great, they're just going to let us know. No, they've got a lot happening in their lives and their business or whatever they're doing as well. They might be really important to you. Now, I'm sure some of you are like, Logan, but what if I don't have any clients yet? It's all very well if I have those past clients to follow up. Even people that have said no in the past, you can follow up with them as well, reconnect with them too, because they've shown some interest. Another thing you can think about in terms of the basics is your own network. So leveraging your own network is really important. And part of that is letting your own network know what you're doing. It's scary letting the people know around you what you're doing. But we've got to be aware that it's part of that journey is telling those people, because that is going to be a really good place for you to find work. It's often very hard to have someone buy from you who's never heard of you before. Make sure you're doing the basic stuff. When you do work with a client, are you following up with them afterwards? Are you asking them for a testimonial, for feedback? And then the other basics, mindset, wellness. I think people overlook this stuff a ton. They're just thinking about it's all about marketing, Logan. But I'm like, yes, in some ways, but actually, it's the foundational stuff that allows you to do the marketing. Part of that foundational stuff is self care, looking after your wellness, so that you can do the marketing. You do have the energy. You're working on building your confidence. You're working on changing your mindset, shifting your mindset from place of maybe scarcity to abundance of, hey, I can do this. I can market. I can find people. I can make this work. All amazing stuff. I'd love to hear your thoughts around some of these things as well, Lana, because I know this has all been part of your experience too.
Yeah, definitely. I actually schedule in hot yoga mornings, Tuesday and Thursday. And although it feels, oh, I should be working, I'm wasting my time, it provides me with so much relaxation and then clarity that I kind of work double time after I get back because it's like this great reset. So we really have to prioritize that kind of wellness stuff that you were talking about. But yeah, the basics, definitely tell family, friends, people at the schoolyard. I don't know, like I said before, I've gotten countless jobs through other parents at the schoolyard that are just following me even on Facebook and just keeps me top of mind. They think of me when they have a friend that needs illustration or a mural or whatever. And keeping in touch in terms of old clients and even new client outreach, make sure you follow up, like not even just once, follow up several times, because I know even in my own inbox, I end up, things go past the main inbox and I completely forget about them. And everybody's busy, everybody's getting tons of emails. So just friendly little follow up. You may have missed my email, just reaching out, maybe do it two times, and then on the third time be like, hey, this is the last time I'm reaching out, maybe you're not interested, and who knows, it might get a response from them. But yeah, be persistent.
It's so important as these things here, putting these systems in place, it's going to be absolutely essential to make sure you're moving your business forward. Look, in terms of the next point we're going to share, we've got one more I really want to dive into. I would love to learn about what you need. Tell me more. What are the things that frustrate you? What are the things that you don't enjoy when you work with creative people? And then you get to go back to them and say, hey, by the way, I've actually taken your feedback and here's how I can help you. Right. So that's the marketing part as well. And you can even include a question, which is something around that saying, hey, might be able to help you. Are you potentially interested in exploring that? Happy to jump on a call. Happy to send you some information. Happy to connect with you. So it's a very like non-pushy, non-salesy approach to just connecting with people, understanding what they need, and therefore actually potentially turning them into clients as well. And once again, even if they don't become clients, they become another node in your network, another node of people that could tell other people about what you do as well. So it's a pretty interesting concept, and there's lots of different ways to do it. I'm not saying you have to do a survey. This could actually just be about asking people in your own network what they need and learning about that. You're going to transfer those learnings to your own business, but also at the same time, they might be like, by the way, I'm actually interested in how you can help if you're solving these problems that I have. Right? I'd love to hear your thoughts around this approach as well, Alana.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did the research marketing module in Logan's course, and it was definitely very helpful. I'm starting to try to transition into more educational offerings because, of course, I've been at this 20 years and I have a variety of different perspectives on being a professional creative for that long. So I want to start sharing with the community, and the research marketing survey definitely let me know what people are struggling with, where they need help, where their weaknesses are. And I have started to build my course. I'm going to be doing an online course, and I've started building my course around those kind of needs. And yeah, it's been great. And then I also get people on my email list that are willing to listen to what I'm saying.
It's so important. And once again, this is where it's an ongoing learning, right? And this is the important part of it is anytime you're staying stagnant in the business, that's when you're not growing and that's when you're not adapting because these industries do change as well. People's needs change over time. Now, they don't change overnight, thank goodness, but things do change over time. So keep on learning. And this is the sort of stuff that Lana's talking about and great ways to promote new things that you're doing and learn about new things that you're considering doing as well. So I absolutely love that. So we sometimes hear from people, tried cold email, Logan, ugh, doesn't work. How many emails did you send? Oh, I sent 20. All right, unfortunately, going to probably need to send a few more, and we're probably going to need to look at what you're saying, what you're sending. But like with cold email reply, 10% reply rate's good. I'm not saying booking rate, I'm saying reply rate. Oh, that's a terrible number, 10%. So if you send 20 emails, you might get 2 people replying saying, oh yeah, we'll keep you in mind for the future. So part of it is that numbers game of, yes, doing more, spending more. Obviously, we've got to balance that with time and energy. We totally get that. But these things do work as well. I love that. We're going to jump into some other ones. So I just want to check, do you have anything else you wanted to add around that, Alana, before we jump to the next questions?
Oh no, you covered it.
Amazing. I love it. We had a really good question sent in from Lindsay J around how to quote my worth. And this is like that pricing question, right? Which is like, how do I get paid what I'm worth? Lots of stuff to this. It's something we dive into a lot during our programs, because like pricing is one of the things that people struggle with the most. And ultimately, if you get your pricing strategies wrong, you're going to really struggle to turn this into a sustainable business. And we sometimes talk to people that are like, hey, like I'm earning like 2 to 3K per month and it's going okay, but it's not really sustainable long term. I'm just surviving here. But Logan, I'm already working like 40 hours a week, because I'm on 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week to make that happen. I can't imagine doubling my time. So there's usually a few things at play in that sort of situation, but one of them is usually pricing, right? So actually increasing that pricing is a really important part of it. We've got to be aware that you're only worth what someone is willing to pay. So therefore, one of the big things is really around who are the people that are willing to pay what you're worth. Also, when we talk about the original question, how to quote my worth, it's also about making sure you're displaying your value, your worth. Some people just can't. Some people won't see the value, and that's okay. Maybe they're not the right fit for you. You might need to pivot to other people, the next person, or even think about who the people are that are willing to pay within that. So obviously a pretty deep one here around this stuff. Any other thoughts on this pricing stuff at the moment, Alana? I feel like we run whole pricing webinars on this stuff too. There's a lot here to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I find I've been doing a lot of book work, children's books and book covers lately, and I have an email template that I set up that I send to each inquiry, and I'll personalize the first paragraph, talk about their project, and then the next paragraph I'll go into here's what I bring to the table, like 20 years experience. I've worked for big clients. I list out all the stages of the project so they can see what they're getting, all the work that goes into the project, and awards that I've won for authors and such. And it really positions me as very valuable. And then I tell them the price, and it's a little easier for them to swallow. I also have been increasing my price every project because I have another book under my belt. I am worth more. People are hiring me. And I find once you start on that ladder, you don't go back. And it's weird because you feel squirmy in your stomach the first time you do it. And you're like, oh God, I'm going to lose this job. And then when someone says, oh yeah, sure. You're like, whoa, I just did that. I got away with that. That's amazing. And then you just keep playing with it and keep testing out, going a little higher every time. And yeah, it's gotten me to where I'm at. And a lot of
It's
mindset
huge.
work too. Yeah. A lot of
Yes.
mindset work. Like you have to come in don't go in from a place of scarcity. Like you have to think, I have enough on my plate. I don't need this job, even if maybe you do. And just fake it till you make it.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. This stuff is like that. Fake it till you make it. Like usually you are faking to make it to yourself as well, as you're already ready for these larger things. We actually, just a quick story that I think everyone here would enjoy. We had a client yesterday on one of our trainings basically shared that what was happening was in their business, they were always quoting really low rates. They just seemed to always have this number in their head, right? How about you double that number? Even doubling that number wasn't really going to be enough to build a sustainable business long term, but let's get you out of that. We had a big conversation around that, around the pricing and the confidence side of that as well. And what they did after that meeting was they actually went, screw it, you know what? I'm going to just charge way more. I'm going to charge, it was like 10 times the price. They were like, whatever, I've got nothing to lose then. Sounds like if I can't get this stuff right, I'm not going to have a sustainable business. The client said yes. And they literally multiplied it by 10 and they said yes. Right now, yes, the amount they were originally offering was really low. So times 10 of a really low number wasn't out of this world, but it's like suddenly they had increased it a lot. Right. So this stuff is real. This stuff does happen, but it's often related to confidence. There's always going to be people out there that are charging less than what you're charging, no matter what you're charging. A crazy thought, but it is very true. There's all sorts of things there. Got another question we got pre-sent in, which is wondering if I should start marketing my work now or wait until I have a more defined style. I love this question. I think this is really good. You probably already know my answer to this, which is that, look, the quicker you can start getting yourself out there is going to do two things. One is you're going to get in front of people and you're going to get the work. Two is you're also going to learn about marketing and what to do. Also, what's going to happen during that is you're probably going to figure out your style as you go. So it's not people go, I'm figuring out my style, so therefore I've got to figure it out and then I will start my business. No, the process of you running your business and doing that business is how you will do the work and figure out the style. Because part of it is probably you want your style to be impacted by, yes, your passions, your desires, things that you bring, but also it does need to have some influence from the outside world as well in terms of what people are attracted to and interested in. So yes, the sooner you can start doing some of the stuff, the better. And like honestly, yeah, your early on Instagram posts, your early cold emails, they might be terrible, right? You might look back and be like, oh, terrible, right? I think everyone's got that. It's got an Instagram page, particularly people that have grown their Instagram. So I think that's just a really good thing to think about around this is that there is value in taking small actions, getting started with marketing, building up your confidence around what to do, even if your first messages or the first stuff you do is not that great. I'm not saying put absolute rubbish out there. We want to be mindful, we want to do our best at the time, but that's how you will improve around this stuff as well. Alana, would love to hear your thoughts around this one too. I think there's just so much in this idea of perfection and whether we
Mhm.
should wait, whether we should hold off. What are your thoughts around that?
Oh my gosh, just put it out there. Put it out there. People also love a growth story. They love seeing you grow as an artist. They love cheering you on and just learn through doing, really. Yeah, you're always going to be improving. And I see a lot of people actually participating in Instagram challenges right now where they take an old piece and they remake it into their current skills. And the growth is insane. So yeah, just get it out there because if you're sitting there and you're not putting anything in front of people, you're not going to get any work. So take a chance.
Take a chance and you're going to learn as you go, which is part of this journey. So I love that. Very cool. We are coming towards the end of our time and we didn't manage to cover all of the questions that were submitted, but thank you for those of you that did share some questions. And I think we probably answered a bunch during the actual training too, which is good. So just a couple of reminders is that we do have that link. I'm going to drop that link again. This is for that freebie call with myself or Paul from the team as well. That's something there that would love to open that link. Would love you to check that out. We'll make sure it's in the email we'll send out with the recording afterwards as well. So you can click that there too. We'd love for you to do it today or in the next few days. That would be absolutely awesome. Even if you're not interested in a call or something there, check out the survey. You're going to find it really interesting. The questions it digs up, the things that you're thinking about are going to help you in your journey as well. Love it. Okay, cool. So we're going to wrap things up. That means that what we've got to do is we've got to get everyone sharing takeaways. So we'd love everyone to drop what is one takeaway from today? What's one thing that you've found interesting, you've learned? If everyone can pop one thing in the chat, that would be amazing. This is going to help everyone here to consolidate the learnings, help you to consolidate what you've heard. If there's anything you're going to do differently or apply or try or action, you're like, I'm going to go do this thing, put it in the chat. Would love you to add that just as we start to wrap up for today as well. Awesome. So things being shared here. Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Layla. Great information here. Be sure to do the basics first. Oh, such a good reminder. Such a good reminder. Ask for testimonials, Andrea. Absolutely. Confidence in yourself is key. Website structure, amazing confidence. Yes. Marketing is about staying top of mind. Yeah, that's a huge one, Gavin. I love that one. Update website with services, the services page, right? It's yeah, a pretty easy one to do. Add a new page, or even just add it to your homepage. Could even put it up top. Yep, need to move towards networking. Amazing. Honestly, there's so many good things being covered here. Keep adding things into the chat, everyone. We're going to wrap up for today. It's been a fun one, hasn't it, Alana? Have you enjoyed it as well?
Yeah, this was really great. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Amazing. Hey, we're going to wrap up there. Lovely to see everyone, and we'll catch up soon. Hope to connect with some of you via the survey as well. Hey, take care, everyone.